Hello, this is Patrick from XPression. I'd like to show you the new features of the XPression Maps 4.0 HTML5 Maps client for the newsroom. So here I'm in my Inception newsroom system, and I've got my XPression Maps plugin open, and I'd like to do a map animation. So I'm going to do two things. First off, I'm going to go and load my map template in my XPression Maps client, and I'm now going to click on Open Mem. I've got my Maps tool selected, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to log into my Maps client. Now, a couple things I want to show you. First off, I have folders here. I only have a couple. Some people have many folders. There's a search field in here now. So now if I type in demo, it filters down my list to show me anything with the word demo in it. Now, I'm going to go into my saved maps tools, and I'm going to choose OpenStreetMaps, and I've got lots of maps in here. I can now sort them by dates, so newest to oldest. Right now there's the oldest ones, there's the newest ones, but if I want to look for something specific, I can now search. So if I type in LA, this will bring me all the ones that have LA together. So you can see LA here and here, but you can also see Clark County, LA are together in that first word of Clark. So I'm going to see that there. So I can find my maps that way as well. I'm going to go create a new animation, and I'm going to go to my demo folder, and I've got a demo maps base. I'm going to double click it. Now you're going to notice when this opens up, the editing window is a little different now. We now have the ability to do multiple flight points. Now you're going to see up top, you're going to see the default duration is 10 seconds, and it's telling me points. I'm at point 2. If I click this arrow to go back, there's point 1. Let's go to point 2. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I want to go search for Cincinnati. And I purposely spelled it wrong just to see. First off, I'm looking at my map, and I want you to notice something. This particular map style has a lot of information in it. There's a lot of roads and road signs and everything else here. It's crazy. So if I go to Scene, I scroll down, and you'll notice now there's an OSM setting in here, which has checkboxes for water, road, and road signs. And there's sliders here. Let me show you what it does. I'm going to choose road first, and I'm going to grab that slider. And as I move it from right to left, it removes the roads. It's basically taking the smallest road structures, tertiary, secondary, primary. Now it's getting rid of the trunk roads. Now it's getting rid of the county highways, state highways, and then eventually I'm left with interstates, and I can make those go away as well. So that way I can take those out if I want to, and I can adjust that. I'm going to bring it all the way back, and I want you to notice signs are another problem. You'll see there's multiple versions of particular roads because they put the signs, every few sections. So here's 27, 27, 17 is a couple times here with more 27. There's a checkbox here for road signs. And again, the slider, if I move it to the left, it reduces the number that you have. Right makes it bigger, left makes it smaller. So you can set these. I'm going to set them all the way down. I'm going to go to my roads. I'm going to set those all the way down. This is probably not the best example, but if I've got rivers and things like that, I can use the sliders to make those go away as well. This will go from, for example, if you go down to Florida here in the United States, you might want to go to a neighborhood that has reservoirs. They might have little ponds. They might have small rivers going through. They might have big rivers going through. That slider will take you all the way through to the point where you can get rid of the Great Lakes in the U.S. You can get rid of even the ocean if you really want to. So that's something that lets you do that. Now I'm going to go back to my search tool. I search for Cincinnati. I'm going to go back and renew my search. I'm going to click on the plus sign to add a label here. And this label came in. I'm going to open up my drawing tools box here, and my default is something here. It's a label. You'll notice I typed the words flight mode in the name, but you'll also notice there's an icon here. The icon, if you can't tell, it's a plane. So what that little icon does, if I put this on a map that's got multiple flight points, what will happen is when the map animation gets to that flight point, you can have a pause duration. So you can see up here, that's something else you can now add. You can add a duration. When it gets to the pause, that label will appear on. When the pause is over and the map starts to move again, that label will disappear. However your effect is set for that by your graphics department is how that animation will work. I'm going to point out one other thing. I'm going to go back to the scene menu here. I've got this Cincinnati label down here. It's kind of low. I've got safe title, which I've always had, something that not everybody knew. There's multiple styles that your art department can build for you. I could have a full screen version, which kind of shows me regular video safe title. I can also go into lower third, is one that I've built, where I took a transparent version of our regular lower third and I put it into my safe title settings. That lets me know I'm going to move that up, because anything that's behind here will be behind a lower third if it appears during the show out of the control room that may or may not be part of what I anticipate the package or the graphic having. This is not going to go to the control room. It doesn't go into final render. It's a preview image that only shows up in the safe title markers. It doesn't go anyplace else. Now, I built my keyframe. Like before, you have to set your keyframe. And before it used to be over here in this menu. Now it's out here. Next thing I want to do, if I play that animation just so you can see it, I'm going to do a preview. And again, on my computer, I have XPression Maps, I have the Moss workflow, I have XPression, I have all the components running on this computer, so it runs a little slow. This animation would probably take you maybe 3 seconds for it to render and deliver in a typical configuration. Bear with me. Here's the animation. You can see that it will zoom in, and when I get to the pause mode, you'll notice the Cincinnati label will fade in. And because I don't have a third keyframe, it just sits there. So I'm going to click close. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I want a third keyframe. I'm on keyframe 2, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click the plus sign, and you'll see now I'm in keyframe 3 according to the map. And I'm going to go search, and I'm going to go search for Columbus, Ohio. And there it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a label again, and my default is one of those flight mode ones. So while I've got it selected, I'm going to go add one that's not a flight mode just so you can see the difference here. So I drag it over the top to replace it. I have to tell it that it's going to be on the screen. Perfect. So I can now step through my keyframes. There's 3, there's 2, there's 1. Go back to, there you go. You can see I've got the 3 keyframes. Perfect. Let's go look, and we're going to do a quick preview. So let's let that render. And again, I've got a lot going on here, so my renders and previews are going to be a little slow. Yours should be much faster than this, so don't use this as a benchmark for what's about to happen. And we're just about done here. And what you'll see is I'll go from the full map of the United States, which that may not be the starting point you want. You can adjust it. But here's my preview. I go from the full map. I go down to Cincinnati, and I zoom into it. I pause. The pause is going to end. That's going to fade away. And I'm going to go to Columbus. And Columbus already has the label on it because it's not a flight mode label. So this is a choice that you get to make in the newsroom how you want this to appear. And you'll also notice the safe title marker does not appear here. What I want you to note, you're going to also see that this is a 16-second animation because my pauses are short. I can make them shorter. I'm going to make that 2 seconds. I'm going to make my last one. It sits on the end frame for a second, which might be great for your newscast. That made it shorter. Now, let's say, for example, I wanted to go to Columbus first, and then I want to go to Cincinnati. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quick little math here. I'm going to go plus to add a keyframe 4. I'm going to go down to Cincinnati. I'm going to click copy. I'm going to go to keyframe 4, and I'm going to click paste. So that put that into there. And again, you're not seeing that label for Cincinnati because that's already on the map in that keyframe. So I'm going to go to the Cincinnati keyframe. I'm going to delete it. So now when I run my animation and step through, at least, I go full screen map. I'm going to go to Columbus. I'm going to go to Cincinnati. And I've got a 4th keyframe here, which I don't want. I want to delete that. That should have deleted it. So now I've got full map, Columbus, Cincinnati. So that should be perfect. That's how I put it together, and that's how I rendered it. I'm going to put that too for my preview render, and it's going to render all those 3 keyframes. That's got my start. I've now switched it so that I have Columbus first, and then Cincinnati. Columbus has a regular label, which will just be there, and Cincinnati has a flight mode label, so it will dissolve on so that I can see that animate when it gets to that keyframe. So here we go from the full screen, the full map, and I'm going to go to Columbus, which had that label already there, and now I'm going to be going into Cincinnati, where I'm going to see I'm going to fly to it, and once I land and do the pause, from there, you'll now see the title fade on, so there's flight mode as well. So you've now seen all the different controls here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to save my map here, and I'm going to call this demo map base. So I have it. I'm going to click save, and you can see I kind of can't type. I've got multiple folders here, but you'll all be fine with that. I'm going to take my moss tag and drag that into my template and let go of it on the drag and drop. And now that's going to go ahead and do a full render on the background, and we're rendering this off on the XPression video codec. And from here, what I should be able to see is a preview of my map animation. It just take a second, and there it is. So I'm going to preview my template. I'm going to rewind it, and I'm going to click play. You'll see my transition to open up my map template, and there's my map animation zooming in to show me the full preview of everything in my map. So that's the new features of the XPression Maps HTML5 client for XPression Maps 4.0.